Good morning, everyone. You have just tapped into Leveraging Up. It is your voice, your story, and your impact. And I could tell you, I've had pre-conversations with Carol this morning, and I also told her, I wish I had pressed the record button, but that's okay because we're going to get some amazing shares today because Carol not only showed up for my podcast, she gave me an amazing lesson. And I'm going to start with the lesson that she gave me this morning. And she gave me a very powerful opening. And so, if you will indulge me, I'm going to ask Carol, tell me the story behind your story.
Thank you, Mimi. So for the story behind the story, it opens up people's window that you can see. So for me, I'm in third grade, and the teacher, it's the last day of school, it's in June, warm summer day. And you're going to get your report cards, and everybody's celebrating with the report card. It's my turn to get the report card, and the teacher turns me to the front of the room, and then she instructs the fellow students that they are never to talk to me again, that I had no business being there in the room, and that she was flunking me. I needed to leave the building immediately. At 8 years old, you're devastated, right? And I left the building, and there's no adult supervision to cross the busy expressway, no nothing. And I get home, and my mother, of course, was livid. And that was the pivoting point where sometimes God is directing you into a place you didn't know you're going to go. So ultimately, my mom took me to a couple of private schools and had me tested. Of course, my confidence was shot, and I didn't think I would have the ability to pass any of the entrance exams. Ultimately, I did, and I was surprised. And I was registered to a school up near Northwestern. It's a feeder school. And my mom was a volunteer, ultimately, at a place called the Cradle. And her role was to come and pick up the newborn babies, bring them to our house until their forever families were there. So one time I got out of school early, and I went to the hospital with my mom to pick up a baby. And there was a nurse, and she was very, very aggressive to this baby. She was very angry, and she scared me. I'm hiding behind my mom's skirt. And the nurse rips off a piece of tape with a number on it off the baby's back, and the flesh came with it. Of course, he screams. My mother grabs for the baby, is letting this nurse know a thing or two. My mother's only 4'11", but she becomes 10 feet tall if you're in going anywhere near harming a baby. So ultimately, we're in the car. Back then, we didn't have car seats. So I'm holding this baby, and I'm looking into his eyes, and there was no sparkle. And you could tell that he wasn't feeling that he was loved, wanted, or valued. What got me was this mother would have never given this baby up if she had known that was going to be his first experience in the world. And at my little mind at that time, I thought, somewhere, somehow, I want to correct a wrong and make a difference. Of course, at 8 years old, you don't know that that is a pivotal place in your experience. Fast forward, I am a mother of 8 now, and grandmother of 25. And it took me a couple of my own births. My first was a frank breech. I did not have a C-section that everybody else was having because I had a doctor who was very comfortable with breech deliveries. He was a wonderful gentleman. And then I busted my tailbone with the 2 deliveries after that. And so I was looking for a solution not to break the tailbone again. I found a doula in church who was also a midwifery assistant. So Cindy became my doula and the birth assistant, and Linda Graff, a certified nurse midwife who was an instructor in the Chicago University areas, and she ended up delivering me on my hands and knees with my children there. And that became the world to me. So then I decided to become a doula and an assistant. And there I started teaching childbirth education. And of course, who's going to show up? Single moms. So the first single mom that came through our door, her mother had kicked her out of the house. Turns out that the dad was already a married man. She did not know. She was going to nursing school full time and working full time. And here she was expecting. So we opened up our doors for 20 years. And we had moms laboring in our house because it was normal. So my oldest started doing labor support when she was 8, and ultimately she became the midwife of our family practice. And we have served over 4,000 families. We delivered 1,200 babies. The unwed ministry that we had, all those babies are still with their moms, except for 2. And those 2 babies know their moms. The one mom became her daughter's babysitter, godmother, and godmother to her adopted sister as well. And she became a doctor at Northwestern. So those are those moments that these little souls are coming into our world because they're supposed to. The method and the people that they are calling, I believe they're divinely called. So when my daughter passed away in October of 21, I decided I had successfully taught many people to be doulas, but I upped the game by coming here and setting up the certification program. And I do go the extra mile in my program. One, I give credit where credit is due. I find out what's the story behind their story and why they want to be a doula. And the age group has been 18 to 68. Some of them are grandmas, they just want to give back, and young ones are just inspired. But each one of them, I want to know their story. Because when they have gone through something, you know, they've had 100% success in life to get to the place they are. But none of us has gone through something that hasn't had bumps in the road. When someone is hired a doula, they're going for the part of them that will hold the space unconditional. That they know that that person will stay strong in an energetic spirit of knowingness, that they've been through something, they've successfully got over something. And those can be many things, right? But you can never knock that person off their story because it's theirs. And one woman to another, we know that. And we hold that to be true. So my first question for my students is, if your neighbor or someone calls you for help, will you show up? All of them, of course, have said yes. But that's the basic question in the first place. It's like, this is the football. Once we get past that, I go into the part of, what have you done for yourself when you were sick over the years? And they might have gone take hot baths, lay in mom's bed, chicken soup, whatever. I said, you've been doing labor management your whole life. You're going to use that skill set for the next person because it worked. And all we do is we come along and we add to the repertoire with tools and tips. So the laboring mom is confident to know that she's getting through it. She's already been doing it. The future doula, she knows because she's already been doing that for herself and for her own family, friends and family. So it's a genuine response. It's a genuine one human to another compassion moment. I love the way I teach is because there's a midwifery practice in the Chicagoland area where my daughter trained a certified nurse midwife in home births. She was practicing in the hospital, but she wanted to go into the home birth world. And since my daughter had trained with the Amish community, there you may or may never have seen the mom for a prenatal appointment. They may or may not have given any clue, but they might call and say, we need the midwife. So their stats were phenomenal. So this practice, when she found out that I was going to be teaching, she said, can I refer? I will take on first-time moms now, if you'll take them on with your students. So as soon as I have a mom, I connect them up to one of my students. And we always go as a team. That's really a thing that I'm really strong about, because we're not only there for the mom and the dad, we're also there for each other and also the midwives that we're working with, or doctors. We've had a very rich community in Chicago for home births. So as that team is there, I bring my two students. I'm supervising them. The midwives love teaching. So I have a new student. I think she's about 3 weeks into the signing of the agreement, and she's already slated for a birth in 3 weeks. And that's where the real classroom is. Then when you read the books, you understand why it's so valuable and what that is. But there's so many programs out there where you've got to jump through all these hoops before you're even allowed in the room. That's not the way I've ever taught, because that's not the way we lived it. The classroom is in the moment with the individual, one human to another. And it's the love that you share. So I did a prenatal appointment the other night. That's why I'm able to be here today, is because I had the one mom deliver. This one's not due for another 3.5 weeks. I'm like, okay, I'll get over here. And this mom invited us to dinner for the prenatal. And that's the first time I've ever had that happen. But with the two new students, and then I have other students that have, gone through the certification. They are the instructors if I'm not there. So Jessica was there with me. And we facilitated it. And then my prenatal, I have a yearnings list. These are your soul's yearnings. There's 58 of them. And what are the 3 most important yearnings that you have for this birth? And when a client comes up and, they want to feel safe and secure, but you are introducing things that are not safe and secure to them, you're missing the boat and you're getting a result that neither one of you wanted. So with this yearnings list, we all go through and we say what we yearn for. Whether they want to be seen, heard, and understood, to make a difference, get closer to God. That yearnings list is invaluable because people will do the things that they really yearn for, but not knowing that there's words for them. So we go through that and we bind. And then throughout the labor process, I go back and I say to the client, do you still feel safe and secure at this time? We had a stillbirth about 2 months ago. And throughout that, she still had to go through labor, right? And so on her yearnings, I kept affirming it. Do you feel, safe and secure? That was one of hers. Do you still feel close to God? And throughout that whole process, she said yes. So the result afterwards, when I did the postpartum visit, I said, how was your experience? It wasn't the result that we wanted, right? With a live baby. We knew that the baby heart rate had stopped, the heartbeat had stopped prior to. She said, it was the most beautiful birth experience I've ever had. She says, I can't wait to heal. Well, my husband and I have decided that we're going to try again, and we want you. That memory lasts forever. Like you were sharing, you could see it in your eyes. That changes the game. So many women don't get that loving experience, and they deserve it. And when you have a home birth and your family members are there, everybody gets a job. If they're in any of my births, no matter who it is, even the littlest ones, they can carry mom's glass of water to them or whatever, but everybody gets a job so they know they belong. That's important. And 2, they're always there to tell that child, I was there. That lets that baby know that they are wanted, loved, and valued. And we learn that from the age of 0 to 6 months. And that's where people don't get it.
Oh my goodness, Carol. What can I say? You have touched my heart this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And because you took the time to teach me to get that story behind the story, I believe I'm going to be putting that into my show. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, and thank you for this opportunity.
Today, you have today you had the opportunity to share and connect. And today we got to hear the voice, the story, and the impact straight from Carol Wachniak, Doula. She's also our Connect and Collaborate lead in Chicago. So these are the stories that we're collecting. And I'm going to say thank you so much, Carol, from the bottom of my heart, and for being here today.
Thank you so much.